Hello, and welcome to the Achievement Hunting 101 podcast. This is Level 12. I'm your host, Kenny, and thank you for joining us. We have a tremendous show for you guys tonight, but before we get started, I want to introduce who will be joining. First up, we have Corey, aka RockerDude5012. How you doing, buddy?
Salutations.
And returning this week from their naps, we have the old folks back with us. Old man number one is Ryan, the Mighty Mango. You well rested?
Oh, no, I'm sleepy. I'm old. I'm way past my bedtime.
And old man number two is L, aka Big L. Is everybody off your lawn?
No, Sonny, I'm okay today.
And we lost him. Also with us again is Michelle, aka Matriarch. How you doing?
It's still Matriarch, but I'm fine.
I will get that right one day. I promise.
One day. It's only your second try, so, you get 3 strikes.
That's why I just call her Michelle, because I can't say it
That's
right either.
And also joining us tonight, we have a very special guest. We have the man responsible for the best biscuits and croissants. We have Mr. Pillsbury himself, Dave, otherwise known as Doughboy.
What's going on? Glad to be here today.
It's great to have you. Can't wait to get into our main segment. But before we get to that, let's get on to our proclamation point. L, take it away.
Proclamation point.
No Waka this week. An old friend has returned.
That one was a bit anticlimactic.
well, let's get started with our milestones under the proclamation point. So, Skeptical Mario has won 7,750 achievements.
Woohoo.
He is also now in the top 10,000 of the True Achievement leaderboard. So, congratulations there, Mario.
Nice.
P-Tart has won 11,500 achievements.
Pretty.
So, congratulations. It's very pretty. Sasha Morning has reached a new milestone of 625 completed games, which means I need to start moving because that means Sasha Morning's catching me. The Tominator is now in the top 5,000 of Gamerscore leaderboard for adventure games. So, kind of specific, but awesome.
Nice.
Professor Pluto has reached a new milestone of 500,000 True Achievement score. So good job there, Pluto. And then Kingsman, 2625, has reached a new milestone of 12,000 achievements won.
Nice.
So congratulations to all our milestone people this week.
I have one to add.
Have at it.
What?
Our illustrious Thomas actually hit a triple milestone last week. And you're not going to believe this. He finished a Bethesda RPG in one sitting. I don't know what he was doing.
Shut the front
Fallout
door.
3 PC.
Wow.
I don't know. He must have just had the day free, and he just banged it out in one day.
No potty breaks either. That's
know.
impressive.
So that was his 85th completion, and he got 135,000 gamer score and 170,000 True Achievement score. So good job, Thomas. We salute you.
Good job, buddy. All right. And Rocker, if you'd like to let us know who survived round 1 of the UHH knockouts.
Sure thing, will do. In no particular order. No particular order. We have Big L, and he talked his way to a 16-14 advancement in the UHH.
Sniper L.
Matchup.
Otherwise known as the Next on the list is Matriarch. Listen, Kenny, Matriarch.
See, Corey gets it.
She classified, as in the Dewey Decimal System, a win
Oh, nice.
at 7-3.
Very nice.
Yep. I had to explain it so you know to make it funny. Kronos had a timely 13-11 victory.
Nice.
Skeptical Mario out preloads his opponent, at 14-11. Waka quickly won 17-15 this week, and Chin Doctor outlived What the Fug at 18-17.
Oh, that was a great matchup. Good job by both of them, because it was fun to watch Chin have to sweat it out a little bit during the week, because he's very good at these competitions, and Fug definitely gave him a run for his money there.
Absolutely, he did. Good job, Fug, and to all the other winners.
Like I said in Discord, Fug's one fatal error was going to sleep. His Chin is a robot and does not need sleep.
That matchup was also really interesting since they gave share.
Yeah.
Quiet.
I think that's the opposite of interesting.
Well,
Just kidding.
Speaking of Power Rangers,
okay, so the main topic we want to discuss is Extra Life. This is why we have our illustrious guest, Dave, with us. So, Dave, why don't you go ahead, tell us about Extra Life, what you'll be doing, whatnot.
Sure. So, for those who don't know, I've been doing Extra Life for 6 years. It is a charity to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the U.S. and Canada. So, there's a total of 170 different hospitals that you can choose from. When somebody signs up to play for Extra Life, they're saying that they're going to give their time, like a 24-hour marathon to play games. So, think of it more like a walkathon or a dance-a-thon or something like that. You get people to sponsor you, $1 an hour, $5 an hour, here's $50. Basically, all that money, instead of them walking or doing a dance-a-thon, they are playing video games. We're gamers, that's what we like to do, and we like to give back as well, back to the kids that could really use it. So the way that we do that is we sign up to play, and then people sponsor us, and we raise money for our hospital. The reason that I have basically given a lot to this particular charity is because they give 100% of whatever you raise to the hospital of your choice. They don't take out little fees here and there. Whatever you actually make goes to that hospital. Basically, they're umbrellaed directly underneath of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, so they take care of all the background stuff. They take care of the paperwork, legal fees, website fees, things like that. What you're doing for your cause is going to your hospital of choice. So that's one reason that I have chosen to continue to support this charity. The other ways that I've supported this charity is I am a guild member of the Philadelphia Guild. And what that means is we go out to different events and tell people about Extra Life to get more people to sign up. And when more people sign up, that means more money's going towards either the hospital that I'm going for or another hospital that needs it as well. So I don't mind going out there, spending a weekend at a particular con and sitting at a table and telling people about the different ways that they can join and how easy it is to, just share it on your Facebook page, share it on Twitter, just send an email to friends and family saying, hey, I'm playing games and it'd be great if you could help sponsor me. The other nice thing is that nobody ever comes and hunts you down. So if you can't do all 24 hours, certain old people in the room here fall asleep or whatever it might be, completely understandable, in which case you can do 6 4-hour streams, 4 6-hour streams, or hey, guess what? I'm only going to do an 8-hour stream. That's what I can give you one weekend throughout the whole year. Just going to do a small one. The main thing is that you're raising the money for the kids. So, and you can do it wherever you want to. You can do it at your house, your friend's house, get a couple people together, rent out a bowling alley and bowl for a couple hours. Any form of gaming counts. Video games, board games, card games. There was a family that did a wiffle ball tournament in their backyard for a few hours and then came inside and shot pool for the rest of the night. It counts. I also heard somebody fished for 24 hours and it counted, so we'll take it. Anything to help out.
Yes, that's a game.
Did they catch anything?
More than a cold, yes. And
Yes.
quite a few donations.
So what initially... Now, first, how long have you been participating in Extra Life?
This is my 6th year doing it on the books. I basically started doing it because I found out about it through the hospital. Actually, I heard about it on a podcast. From that podcast, looked into it and said, oh, this supports the hospital that my children go to. Both my children were born with metabolic conditions, so they see doctors and nurses at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia at least once a year. And they have a metabolic condition that when they get sick, you and I get sick, we get the flu, we throw up, we have other issues. Our body has fats that can break down and sustain us so that we can continue on, maybe not feeling great, but we can get through the day. With them, unfortunately, they have no stored units, so they can't contain themselves. So when they get sick, we have to take them over to the ER. And in the ER, they get IV fluids, and they stay for anywhere from 1 to the longest stay we had was 5 nights. And when we've been at the hospital, specifically, we go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The staff are just amazing. They want to be there. They give of themselves. They make the kids feel comfortable. They make the families feel comfortable. So initially, my daughter was diagnosed a couple days after birth. We got a call at 2 a.m. in the morning saying, "Hey, how's everything going?" And we're like, "Why are you calling us so late?" And they explained what this was. Her numbers were rather high on the scale. Basically, the way they found it is they do a heel prick test where they get a little blood out of the heel of the baby, and then they test it for any strange diseases. This disease that they have has only been researched since, I think, 2007. Prior to that, a lot of these cases, unfortunately, were SIDS cases, where they don't know why the baby passed, but the actual reason was because they weren't fed every few hours, their blood sugar dropped, and unfortunately passed away. So the other reason that I do it is when my son was born, he was born a couple weeks premature, and unfortunately had to go to the NICU at our local hospital, at which point both of his lungs collapsed, and they had to put him on a machine to keep him going, and we immediately said, let's get him up to CHOP, because we know that, we've been through them. We know that we feel more comfortable there. And as soon as we got him there, it was more of a sigh of relief of, he's here, we're good. Anything can happen, but this is where we want to be with him, that we can get through this. So he spent the first 11 days of his life on in a hospital room, and we were there with him, and they like I said, made us feel completely comfortable and did whatever they could for him. Now when they're older and they go in the hospital, same thing. They come to their bedside, they play games with them, they educate them. If there's anything that's odd on testing, they bring the parents out and explain it to them. They let you kind of be a part of the rounds when they go through. So it's just really an informative hospital. And the one thing that a lot of people don't know about the hospital is that all Children's Miracle Network hospitals are nonprofit, meaning that whatever money they get goes back into the system. If there's somebody that can't pay a bill, they're not going to have that pressure of, you need to pay this bill or else. Somebody's going to take care of it. It's not that they just take everybody in and say, oh, don't worry about it. But the ones who can't, it's definitely there. So that's another reason that I support this hospital.
Yeah. I personally don't have any kids yet, but a buddy of mine, his son, it's been a few years now, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had some sort of heart condition or whatever, and he had to spend, believe it was like the first 3 or 4 weeks in the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. CHOP is what they call it for short. And everything that him and his wife said and everyone at visit, just remarkable staff. And like you said, how parents, they don't have to worry about the bills. He was one of them. At the time, he was unemployed, and everything was just taken care of. And this is a fantastic charity. The children's hospitals are great.
I would agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you said 6 years on the books, right?
Yes.
With Extra Life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the Extra Life has grown a lot. I know that there are other venues through which people can contribute to Extra Life. It's not just this one event. But
Right.
What's your experience been with the 24-hour marathon? How have you grown and changed with it over the past 6 years that you've approached it?
Basically, the first year I just shared on Facebook, once every 2 to 3 hours. At the beginning, hey, what am I getting myself into? A couple hours later, hey, we're still going. We're now playing this game. I didn't have anything to stream with, but at the same point was just keeping my family and friends notified of what was going on, and we would still receive donations throughout the day. As it's grown at this point, now that I have the equipment to stream, I happily stream the entire thing. We've turned this into the past 3-4 years at this point, 3 or 4 years. I forget which year we started it, but pretty much it's an open door policy at my house. At 8 a.m. on game day, which this year is November 3rd, we go ahead and let anybody know who wants to stop by. Go ahead and stop by, and we will have board games, card games, video games going the entire time. And I have been able to stream the entire event where if I'm not on the main picture, I'll jump off, go grab some lunch or something, and somebody else will jump in my seat for a little while, or we'll go to camera 2, which has got, just basically the living room TV with a bunch of people playing on it. Last year
That's awesome.
was our biggest year as far as the amount that we personally raised as a team, and then also the amount of people that showed up to play. I think we had 22 people in and out of this house at one point.
Wow,
I
that's
think there
awesome.
was
Awesome.
about 14 all at once, and then just throughout would be jumping in and out. So yeah, it's great.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and now, do you have any particular plans when you go in? Like, I know some people, when they're building their streams for Extra Life, they say they're going to go for X amount of gamer score, or they're going to have a schedule from 2 to 5. We're going to play this, and 5 to 6. Do you approach it that way, or is it more just kind of you go with the flow of what happens through the day?
It's kind of been go with the flow. We definitely want to get a little bit more organized this year. I know I'm going to be sharing streams with other people that are doing it as well. I might have, especially with the capabilities that Mixer has of sharing, and you can watch 2 or 3 people doing it, but only be listening to one person's audio, even if they're not playing the same game or something like that. So I think we're going to go ahead and team up and do some of those things. I invested a little bit more into a couple more cameras this year, a couple more microphones, a few more setups. We always have about, I think, 5 or 6 TVs at least going with different game systems on them. People bring their, obviously cell phones and tablets to do some personal gaming, mobile gaming. And then we have the one year we did a 6-hour, played every single Cards in the Card Against Humanity deck, the big black box or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Wow.
We had
That's
every
awesome.
single one of those cards played by the end. So that was just that was in the middle of the night when the kids were asleep. We just sat down and did that. So
Kids definitely need to be asleep for that one.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, during the daytime, it's pretty much the kids will jump on, play for a little bit, and we'll say, okay, now let somebody else play, and they're happy to do that. We'll play more of the kid-centric games or more of the party games. Last year we did speedrunners for about 4 hours.
Wow.
We did a little bit of the Overcooked for about an hour or 2. So a lot of and Jackbox Party Pack is always included on our streams. Prior to that, Rock Band was a big one that we did. So yeah, we just whatever somebody wants to bring a system with them and set it up. And we had one guy that just wanted to play by himself in the corner, and hey, he was here. He could at least hear us and talk with us. So however you want to participate is great.
Any specific games you're going to be playing? Like video games?
I'm usually a little bit more prepared, but unfortunately with the past month of mine, I am not quite there yet. I still have some plans. The thing that I usually like to do, and I've started to do, is I've been doing the Free Code Friday, where every Friday I'll put up that anybody that had donated to my campaign can get a raffle ticket basically for every $5 that you've donated. But if you can't donate and you just want to be able to share the word that I'm doing it, then you get a raffle ticket that way too. And that's been seeming to do a lot more for me this year, a lot quicker. Typically on game day, I do raise quite a bit just from friends and family that only look at Facebook and don't look at Twitter or whatever. But that's been my strategy this year. I also have a few raffle baskets. I have a few vendors in the area that have donated a few things this year, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger that way too. So I wish I didn't have some issues this past month, that I could have focused a little more on it and gotten more photos and things like that, so everybody could see what we're doing. But we will be doing that very shortly between this week and next week. Make sure everybody knows a couple weeks out what we're doing.
So keep an eye out for all that. So when exactly are you going to be streaming? Like which days, so we know when to watch?
I am going to do the National Day. The National Day of Play is November 3rd to the 4th. 8 a.m. Eastern Time is when I will start, and 8 a.m. The following day is when we will end. That is when they turn the clocks back, so we get 25 hours instead of 24 hours. And they've done that the last 2 years, and I don't think they're going to change that. This is the 3rd year in a row that they're doing it. So, yeah.
Now, do you
Squeeze one more
typically
hour.
get through the full 25 hours, or do you tend to catch a little nap here and there?
I have made it every year.
Wow.
I have
Nice.
one friend that the first 2 years made it with me the entire time. The 3rd year he was moving or something like that, so he only came for part of it. I have a cousin and her boyfriend, and they usually stop by. They made it about 22 21, 22 hours. However, they're EMTs and they worked the night before, so they
Wow.
really they put in a lot more time
They
than
really
I
put in
did. So
their
I was like, you guys made it. I'm counting it. Don't worry. So
And we'll definitely make sure to highlight like your specific donation page information and where people can find you on Twitter. But generally, if people are looking for information about Extra Life, about streaming, about the National Day of Play, where can people find this information online, on Twitter, on Facebook?
If you go directly to their website, extra-life.org, that is the website where you can go to sign up to donate. You can look for a specific person or a specific team that you might want to donate to. The one thing that I did want to mention, since you just said learn about streaming, they do have an area where you can download resources. You can download backgrounds and things like that for your stream. You can download different commercials to put on when you need a bathroom break. Basically, the commercials are just stories about some of the kids that have been in the hospitals and stuff like that. So that's really neat to see.
That is neat that they actually thought that out.
Yeah, and that's been changing. That's something they added about 2 years ago, that they started doing that because a lot more people are starting to stream. Now, I say a lot more people, but the amount of people that are actually involved with it, it's actually, I think they said only between 10 to 13% that actually stream. Everybody else is word of mouth. Everybody else is just posting on Facebook, posting on Twitter. So if somebody doesn't have the means to stream, please don't feel like you could join, that you can't join and can't try to participate in this great effort. You can. You just send out the emails, you send out the Facebook updates, Twitter, Instagram, however you like to communicate with your social network, and let them know what you're doing, and you're going to get donations. You'd be surprised at what you get your first year.
Has anyone else here participated in Extra Life before?
I have only participated as a donor.
Yeah,
Same.
same here. Just donating, and to be honest, kind of getting in this process and talking about it even more. It's probably been on my mind the past week the most, but I think next year I'm going to go for it and host my own campaign. Seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah, I've donated, and then I had a friend that was doing streaming and then also like tabletop games. So I actually went to his house and played tabletop games for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful
Part
when you
of it.
have somebody that wants to just stop by and keep you awake for a little while.
Exactly. This is like an hour, like 18 or something like that he would.
Is anyone out there?
So-
Can you come over?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
last
something-
year
Bring me a
people
Red
collapsed
Bull.
a little early on me, and I pulled up. What was it? Oh, it was when we were doing Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. So I just pulled that up and like started playing, and people were talking to me in the stream like, "Oh, can I join?" I'm like, "Yes, please join me. I don't even know how good you are or what you do, but I'm not that great either." So yeah, I mean, those are just the important things to remember. You don't have to stream. You don't have to think you have too small a social network to get the word out about it. You don't have to be a good gamer to participate. You don't have to do the 24 hours. There's a lot of non-regulations to this thing, and that's, like I said, because they really want you to get the word out and to try to get donations. You can collect donations all year long, and also you do not have to do it on the actual day of gaming. On that day, if you do participate and you are streaming, if you use the hashtag #ExtraLife in your stream title, you may end up on the front page of Twitch, because they grab random people that have that and they throw them up there for anywhere from 15 minutes to, I had a friend that was up there for about an hour. And his stream views jumped through the roof because of that, and his donations did too. So the more you do, the more you can definitely earn, but every little bit helps.
A couple little things you had mentioned too about signing up and joining a team. So it's not too late to sign up. And
Not at all.
how do people go about joining teams? Are you on a team? I know you mentioned you were on one last year. Is that still something you're continuing to do?
Yes, and I've spoken with a couple of community members around different podcasts. Are they called? Is that what those things are people listen to?
It's a new term.
New term,
newfangled
yeah,
thing.
something like that. You fandangled kids and your electronic devices. So yeah, basically this year, a bunch of friends that normally are on my team, unfortunately, aren't able to participate with new babies, new houses, whatever it may be. So I was kind of by myself on a team. What I thought to do was basically ask the fellow podcast community friends and family members, hey, what do you think about trying to raise some more funds for the kids? So I have created a team page, and the team page is titled, no, I don't even remember title it. What did I title it, guys? The Gaming Podcast Communities United. something long and ridiculous because I just had to come up with something. Basically, it will be your community, the Achievement Hunting 101, the Z to Z podcast, and Real Gamer Score podcast, all of us together trying to raise funds for the kids. So some of the podcasters themselves will be joining, and we're also asking that some of the community members maybe pop on there and join as well. Because it is late in the year, if you don't think that you can join, you don't think you're going to have the time before the end of the year, then go ahead and stop by that particular page. Basically, just go to extra-life.org. Go ahead and click in the upper right-hand corner to search for a player or team, and you could just put in podcast, and we're one of the 4 that shows up there. You can click on that, and it'll show you who's on the team. And if you'd like to join the team, you click the button that says join the team, and then you can sign up there to participate. When you do that, it'll ask you which hospital you want to join. If you have a hospital near you, you can specifically say choose the closest one for me. Or if there's one that means a lot to you, maybe a family member in another state had a child go through something at a specific hospital, you could choose that particular hospital. And then I think there's 2 or 3 generic ones that are like most needed. So some hospitals don't get as many participants, and they'll basically take that in as a general pool, and they will add some funds to those particular hospitals. They do allow for international. So anybody that's in another country can join in and do that. And anyone in Canada, something they literally just changed after, this is the 10th year of Extra Life, actually, I forgot to mention that. For the past years, if you were in Canada and there's hospitals that you race for in Canada, they had to use U.S. funds to do the donation. So they would have to use a conversion unit to figure out what you're donating in U.S. funds. And then they would have to reconvert that back to Canadian funds. And it's not quite 1-to-1 ratio, when you're making that change. So unfortunately, money has gotten lost in transactions due to the fact that, the dollar changes its value and whatnot. Now, this year, officially, as of 2 months ago, Canadian funds are fully accepted. You can use PayPal, you can use credit card, whatever you'd like. You can hand a check to one of the gamers that's playing. However you'd like to help, it's available there.
Question.
Sure.
You've been doing this 6 years now?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever played anything with regards to or planned on any specific achievements in your planning for the Extra Life?
Not particularly yet. Something to possibly be determined.
Like a milestone?
Yeah,
or
that's what we
anything.
might do.
Okay.
The only thing that we've really done is saying, since we have used Jackbox Party Pack in the past couple of years, there's obviously very easy ones. We're going to play this until everybody gets the full list of achievements, and sometimes we have to sign off and let the other person jump on and let them be number one, and so we've done things like that. I do play for fun. I don't know if you have to bleep that out or not, but so I've got all the
We'll
other
do that
consoles.
in post.
The family show. Family show.
I got all the other consoles standing behind me. I do play on the NES. I played the GameCube last year for quite a bit. Plus, with the kids being more involved, I like to show them some of the older consoles as well, because they know plenty about, let me play Minecraft. No, you're not going to take the TV for the next 4 hours. You can go ahead and play one of these, and I'll show you how to use it. And, you sit down with them and do that. Plus, the generic kids board games as well. We played Operation for a little bit the one time. We played Uno, things like that. So no particular goals that I've gone for, but this year we're going to try something, I think. Nothing. It should pop up on my Twitter shortly.
Do you have any particular highlight type memories from this, other than the warm fuzzy feeling that comes with doing amazing stuff and using a hobby we love to raise money for this wonderful cause? But anything that stands out over the last 6 years of participating in Extra Life?
Any good stories?
I would say the biggest thing is if you go to my page, and actually I just updated it today. If you go to my page every year, I put gamer extended goals. Like, kind of think of when you're donating to Kickstarter or something. They've got different goals that they're going to put up there, and every time I hit one of those goals, I do a certain thing. So every year when I hit $250, I take a pie to the face. Something silly, something stupid. Everybody likes to see it.
Definitely.
Every year when I hit $500, I wear a certain onesie for the entire event. And every year it's been something just a little more ridiculous. Last year it was a rainbow-colored zebra onesie. The year before that, it was a pink bunny rabbit. And this year, to be announced, drumroll please, we have a purple Care Bear. That's right, folks. I will be Share Bear from the Care Bears this year. If we hit $500 before I start, I will wear it for the entire 25 hours.
If you hit 600, do you have to walk outside your house and shout Care Bear stare in front of your neighbors?
You get me to 600, we could do that,
All right.
we can add in these little
On
ones,
camera,
that's fine.
just to start your stream at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, why not? And then every year so far when I've hit $1,000, kind of what you're saying there, I did have to leave the house in outfit, and I would have to go to one of the conventions that I go to with the Extra Life Guild and be at the booth in that particular onesie for the entire time. 2 years ago, I had to be in the pink bunny costume, and it was at the Greater Philadelphia Comic-Con, and I got a chance to meet LeVar Burton.
Awesome.
In my pink bunny costume.
Very awesome.
And luckily for me, he did the thing with Rooster Teeth a few years ago where he read Go to Sleep. Let's just leave it at that. He read that on their stream. So as soon as I said I did this for Extra Life, he was like, I got it. But yeah, that's just something fun I like to do, a little bit embarrassing. Last year I also did, when I hit $750, I put glitter in my beard and had a glitter beard for the entire thing. So yeah, we just try to find fun ways to make you want to help me get to those points. Just because, like I said, we're giving back to the kids, but at the same point, I like to play games, so this isn't too much of a push for me. I mean, 25 hours is definitely a push, but it's something that I would definitely try to do anyway.
This
Very
is
nice.
fun.
Very nice. That's amazing. Now, you spoke a little bit about the guild, and you had mentioned it earlier as well.
Yes.
But if someone is interested in a guild, how do they get in touch with one? What does being in a guild entail?
When you actually join, I believe there's a spot that says, would you like to hear from your local hospital directly? They did change it where everything was done through their community forums. Now, pretty much, if you go to Facebook and look for your specific hospital and type in Extra Life Guild, you'll probably find it. And those are official sites at this point. You can start learning about some of the stuff there, and they'll definitely let you know. Usually most of them have a monthly meeting where it's either a phone call or a come down to the hospital and do something. This year is the first year. I think next week they're going to do a gaming day with the kids at my hospital. So I'm going to try to get down there to actually do that as well, where I can spend a few hours at the hospital playing some games with the kids, make them smile, have fun with them. Not necessarily to raise funds, but to give back. So, that's something that we're looking to do. I know a few other guilds have gone into the hospitals, and sometimes when the kids are sick, they'll have, or not even sometimes, pretty much every hospital has like a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3 in the room, an Xbox, mobile carts that they can bring in that the kids can play games while they're there, so that they have that little feel of home while they're there. So I know one guild went in and cleaned all of the machines and, made sure everything was organized, and scratch discs got replaced, and they made lists and stuff like that. So it just depends on what your guild is into, but usually it's going out to events, letting people know about Extra Life, trying to get more people to sign up, because the more people that sign up, the more we can do. Last year, total Extra Life raised over $11 million. Wow. So, and that went between the 170 hospitals. So yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Anyone else?
We spoke a lot generally. What about specifically for you? Where can people find your donation page, your Twitter, anything else that's related to your Extra Life efforts, and where will you be streaming this year?
Sure. So you can find me over on, I think I'm going to actually, I chose I chose Twitch last year. I've been streaming on Mixer quite a bit now. I'm probably going to use some of that software that lets you do both, like a restream or something like that. But I'll probably be over on mixer.com/doughboy. You can find me over there. DOUGHBOYEE. That's where that extra E comes from. And you should be able to find me streaming on November 3rd, like I said. Other than that, follow me on Twitter at Doughboy. Xbox, same thing. I kind of grab that name every chance I get. If you want to join yourself, like we said, go to extra-life.org. My specific page is extra-life.org/participant /Doughboy. Yep, I said splash. I heard it.
You can also use the search gamer feature, correct?
You can,
find
absolutely.
You under that name.
Yes, right. And I believe I have it listed as both, either Doughboy or you can find me at Dave Soto.
Awesome. And your Free Code Friday giveaways are very good. I picked up one once. I wound up with Virginia, which was awesome. So thank you so much for running that and giving the opportunity to do that.
Sure. thank you for your donation.
Oh, no problem.
And yeah, and with those, I always do what I've planned on doing is typically a couple years ago, I did 1 week where I did giveaways every day and, things like that. This year I chose every Friday. I'm going to go ahead and just do a free code Friday. Major Nelson doesn't have a strong hold on it. He's got no copyright. So I went ahead and started using that hashtag and people found it and started following me and doing giveaways that way. And my main thing is that if you donate, you're going to be on that list the entire year. So there's a chance you might still end up with something else before the end of the year. You never know.
Cool.
Donate early, donate often.
You got it. Speaking of donating often, like I said, I could make this a 3-hour show, but I don't want to do that to you guys. But there is an option that if you do want to make a larger donation, but you can't do it all at once, you can choose to do a monthly donation, and you choose the particular date. And every 15th, it'll pull $5. Every 15th, it'll pull $10. Whatever you'd like to do. That way, you can give a little bit larger donation instead of trying to do it all at once. So that is something also that's available.
All right. So before we continue on, we here at the Achievement Hunting Podcast, we have our own donation for you. We're going to be able to supply you with a game of your choice, whatever you want it to be. So if you would like the chance of having a full retail game, be sure to keep an eye out on all of Dave's social medias and his page. He'll have more information later on what exactly that game is that he's given out. It's of his choice, whatever he wants.
And how to enter for it.
And how to enter.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
And thank you for everything
supporting
you're doing.
a wonderful charity. Okay, so we have one community question that we want to get to. Community question is, are you a fan of achievements and title updates? Which games did it well and which did it poorly? Conversely, do you buy DLC if it doesn't have achievements? Let's kick it over to Dave first. You're your esteemed guest. What do you think?
Title updates are wonderful because that usually means free stuff. We like to take that. The downside is sometimes people can throw a ton of achievements in there and throw them consistently. We've got the title updates from Minecraft consistently adding 5 or 6 achievements. Usually they're not too hard if you use some cheats and whatnot, but it does make a lot of the games continue on. There are games that do it wrong. Gems of War is getting a little excessive with what they're asking you to do in order
that was going to get brought up.
to get all of them.
Extremely.
And I know Matriarch knows a lot about that as well. So
Yeah.
and then DLC, do I buy it? I do buy DLC. I am a game hoarder. Make sure you get that whole word in there, game hoarder. And I will buy pretty much almost anything that's on sale and then look at my backlog and go, why did you do that? You have so much already. But if there's DLC, I'm typically going to pick that up when it's on sale because it usually doesn't happen too often. But if it's not on sale and it's something that I think I'm going to get around to at some point, I'll go ahead and buy it ahead of time. Yeah.
Oh, what do you think?
I just wanted to thank Skeptical Mario for the question, by the way. I'll answer the second question first. Actually, the question was, do you buy DLC if it doesn't have achievements? And I have done this twice, actually. The first time I did this was in the game N+, and a DLC came out that had extra co-op levels. So I got that with no achievements because I had 3 friends that came over for the initial group that did have achievements. And we just had nonstop laughing and fighting, and it was great. So we did that one.
That helps because it's actually a good game.
Yes. Another 360 game that I remembered recently that I did this for was Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. We got my co-op partner and I finished the game, and we bought the DLC, added a few extra levels with no achievements. It was probably only $1 or $2 for the DLC, so we did it. Other than that, usually not. And as far as games with good title updates, Titanfall comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very much agreed.
Not only were the achievements good, but the game changed tremendously, adding the frontier defense and all kinds of great maps and modes.
Corey?
DLC, yeah. DLC without achievements, most likely not. I can't think of a time where I've did that. As far as title updates go, like Dave said, free. They're usually free. Free achievements is always a good thing. Obviously, Minecraft is the first that come to mind with its mini title updates. Fortunately, those have been all easy, like you said. You can usually download a world to help you get them, and they're not too bad. One, though, that I don't really like, but at the same time I don't know enough to know if they're bad, is Gears of War 4, if you know. I think they've released 5, if I counted correctly, and I think they're about to do another one. And they usually are a handful of achievements, but I think that they're generally very in-game-ish and grindy, which I don't like. One, I don't care for the part of the game that they usually are accustomed to, which is like multiplayer stuff from what I'm looking at. Some story stuff as well. But what I do know about them is that they're retroactive. So if you've already done them, they usually pop upon launch, or you can even open the phone app sometimes. So that's good to do for your players who've already done that. But don't make extra grind for no reason, So give and take there.
And to wake them up, let's hear from Ryan.
I'm awake. I'm listening. I'm taking in all the
Just making
information,
sure.
processing. For title updates, yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. I don't have to spend any money on the DLC then. Like was said, Titanfall, great title update. Adding Frontier Defense was huge. Because I actually like that mode. Another one that I was thinking of was Hitchhiker on Windows 10, which actually pretty much doubled the game for free, which was pretty neat. But it's not a very great game. But it was cool that it doubled the achievements and almost doubled the achievements, but made the game a little bit longer. DLC without achievements, I have bought some with DLC with no achievements. Forza, those games for the car packs, which don't necessarily give you achievements. It might make doing some of the stuff with cars easier, but I figured there's certain model cars I wanted, so I got the DLC. And then songs for Guitar Hero. I mean,
I was going to make
I
that
think all of
point
us
too.
in here has probably done
Nicely
that.
done.
I did not think of
So
that.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, they don't have achievements, but they definitely make the game more fun because there's more songs to play. So yeah, I mean, I do that 99% of the time. Will I buy DLC that doesn't have achievements? No, but in those couple of games, yeah, why not? Gives me more enjoyment of the game. Makes the game last longer.
Yeah, with that mentioned.
Yeah, because
I
you
guess
don't
I
need
bought
games
quite
to play
a bit
longer.
of DLC without achievements in it then. I bought a ton of music on Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
They may not have achievements that are specific to the songs, but at least they can help you get achievements in the base game that may have been more difficult otherwise, right?
Right.
Well, Rock Band especially, I think, didn't Rock Band have a couple ones for the drums where there was a couple songs you could download that basically had 8 notes for expert drum?
Right.
Yeah, Nirvana's Polly, I think, was the big one
Yeah,
that people grabbed
I think
for
so.
the 100% drum achievement.
yeah.
Yes. And the Metallica Death Magnetic for Guitar Hero 3 made a million points easier, I believe.
It definitely did. All Nightmare Long. It's like 9 minutes.
Before Michelle goes, I thought of another one that you might not think of because it's already got 8 million achievements, which is Halo Master Chief Collection.
I was going to mention that.
Oh, yeah? The first couple of updates had 50 achievements each, and then there was a third update with 1 achievement. But then ODST was another title update that had 99 achievements. So if you didn't have enough achievements, they added 200 more with title updates.
Was ODST not DLC?
I think
It's listed as an
ODST.
add-on.
I thought ODST was free for a little while to people who were early adopters of
Oh, yes.
Halo Master Chief Collection
Yes.
because it was so broken.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that
it
was
became
DLC.
Yes, we got it
DLC
free.
later on. So that's kind of a tricky
Okay.
one. That would be like saying, you got your Ori's not a good example. Castle Crashers remaster and considering it like a free title update. It's not. It was like a bonus for being an early
yes.
adopter.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it was a title update.
Right.
Right.
Well,
right.
TA says add-on, so take that,
Darn it.
buddy.
TA.
Master Chief Collection, I think actually did it right, and it did it poorly. ODST, I think, I'm going to consider it a title update. I didn't pay for it. I think that was a good title update. Lots of new achievements, added a whole game, but it also did it very poorly in Spartan Ops. The Spartan Ops achievements are horrible. Having to beat every single one by yourself on Legendary is mind-numbing and just horrible.
Tell us how you really.
We're running to the end of the show, so I probably shouldn't do that.
Truth.
It's getting kind of late.
The Gears of War 4, actually, I guess Gems to some degree, because Dave, you're correct. I play a lot of Gems, and I feel like they have something that knows exactly when I'm about to pop the last achievement to finally re-earn that completion, and then they put out a new title update, and it's awful. But Gears, they've built their title updates to reward people who have played consistently since launch. I think that's actually the intention behind them. So it's bad for people like us who, played when it came out, and I know you said, Corey, you don't really play those game modes at all, but people who have since moved on to other things. But the people who have stuck with the game consistently, as you said, many of those achievements are retroactive, and I think that's what they're going for. They're trying to reward those gamers who have stuck with the game. Another game with title updates that have been quite good that we didn't discuss was Rocket League. Rocket League also had some great additional free content, added new game modes. The arenas don't really change much in terms of the gameplay, but every time they drop a title update and we all go, okay, let's go get those achievements, and we sit there and go, this game is so much fun, and we need the title updates to get us back to it. But they do a great job with those too. And free, and the content's all good. Of course, there are loot boxes also that come along with it, so they have a way to monetize and make something off of these title updates, but you're not obligated, so that's good for everybody.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Weren't there a couple of games where people were really pissed that achievements came out like 4 years later? Were any of those title updates, or were those all DLC?
The one that comes to mind right away is Phantom Breaker, I want to say.
Yeah, it was Phantom Breaker.
Had a DLC that came out.
Oh, that's
no,
right.
It might have. I don't know. But yes, it came out.
It was DLC. It was
Do
DLC.
360 games have title updates?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, Minecraft.
Gears
Yes,
of War
they do.
3 had some title updates. That
Yes.
Minecraft has a title update, which is still broken for the achievements, but it has a title update.
right.
Phantom Breaker's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, it was 4 years later, and then new DLC scanned in, and everybody was very confused by this. But at least it actually worked. It wasn't something where the content was somehow broken or something. It just came back to it a long time later for whatever reason.
So, Dave, you were saying they were playing 8 hours of Rocket League during the Extra Life?
We might be able to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
Now, when you play Jackbox Party Pack, are you going to make sure to tweet out your room code so you can get an audience going?
Oh, yeah.
So people can
Yep.
view on... Oh, awesome. Are you planning to play all of them or the newest one? You just kind of run through them all?
It just randomly depends on what people want to play. Like Fibbage usually is one of the bigger ones here.
Quiplash.
What's that?
Quiplash.
Quiplash, yes, that's the other one that we typically jump on. We tried some of the newer ones last year, and people just weren't into them for some reason. I like what's the horror one? The horror trivia
Oh, I don't know.
from the third one. But nobody else seemed to get into it, so we'll skip that one.
Drawful winds up pretty popular anytime I'm playing Jackbox related stuff too.
All right, guys, that about does it for this show. Unless anyone has any more thoughts or comments they'd like to say.
I just want to again say thank you to Dave for coming on and joining us, and for everything you've done with Extra Life and promoting it and getting the word out there.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for giving me another platform to do so.
Yeah, like she said, thank you for coming on. One more time, why don't you plug all your things, your Twitter, your Extra Life stream where people can donate? Go ahead and run through it all once more.
Sure, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Mixer. Just look for Doughboy, Doughboyee. I've kind of cornered the market on that one, so you look for me at any one of those places, you'll usually find me. Typically on my Twitter stream is where you're going to find most of the stuff. Going live here, going to do this, that. Here's a prize that I got. I typically update there more than I do on Facebook. And then typically about 2 weeks or so, I'll probably maybe even do one tonight on TA directly. I will go ahead and start using their little forum area that I can, or not forum, I'm sorry, the blog posts that you can update and let people know what we have going on there too. So you will all see some great prizes coming in from people that have donated, including this great podcast. And I thank you once again, guys, for doing that.
Oh, of course. Least we can do. And all of your links and everything like that, that'll be all in the show notes. So easy, go there and take a look at them. And all right. And lastly, if you want to, you can follow and tweet the show at Achievements101 on Twitter. And you can check out our Mixer account, watch our live show, and catch us when we stream. Our Mixer account is mixer.com/AH_101_podcasts. And finally, join the conversation at discord.io/AH101. We're all there, and it has links to everything I've just said, and it'll probably have links to Doughboy stuff. All right, guys. Talk to you next week. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Welcome to Waka's Weird Wonders, where I highlight an obscure game that I've enjoyed. Vesperado Double Barreled was released on Xbox One back in 2016, but was just added to Game Pass. This is an excellent opportunity to check out this top-down pixel art open-world spaghetti western. Vesperado is not only the best western I've played last year, it's the best western I've played this decade. Actually, it's the best western I've played in my life. Granted, the only other western games I recall playing are Gun for the original Xbox and Gunsmoke for the NES. The adventure begins with your character getting back home after retrieving an escaped buffalo, only to find your home burned to the ground and your family murdered, except for your brother who lies dying in a pool of his own blood, asking you to end his misery. This sets you off on your main quest, which is finding the person who murdered your family. Apart from the gruesome opening and the finale, the tone is mostly silly and heavily leans on Western tropes. The murderer is randomly assigned random characteristics and location every playthrough. Performing missions and completing quests will give you clues to the murderer's appearance, and it will get easier and easier to narrow down who murdered your family. At any time you can pull your gun on anyone and accuse them of being the murderer, with mixed results. The excellent open world with Western tropes and clichés is not big but very dense. Your first playthrough will probably be around 4 hours getting to know the world and finishing the quests and missions you find. The missions are open-ended and can be completed in several ways, making the at least 6 playthroughs required for completion surprisingly fun and varied. It helps that once you figured out the game, a playthrough can be done in less than 10 minutes. Since the only thing you need to do to complete the game is dealing with the murderer. If you choose to go the violent route, no one is safe from your bloodlust, including important NPCs. While this might seem like a game breaker, it really isn't, and if you find you've made it difficult for yourself by angering or killing key individuals, you can just start a new playthrough. The combat itself can take a bit getting used to, where you can only fire your gun horizontally and handling your gun is an intentionally complicated process. The number of hits you can take is determined by how many hats you have, and the easiest way to get more is by shooting off someone else's hat. Due to the open nature of Vesperado, most of its 79 separate achievements can be done in less than 15 minutes, with the exception of a few, such as getting all the endings. If you take your time to explore the world and complete the quests you stumble over, You'll likely have around 35 achievements after your first 4-hour playthrough. Desperado's recent addition to Game Pass has severely inflated the game's TA ratio. It is currently worth 1000 gamer score and more than 5000 TA. The guide on TA claims it can be completed in 10 to 12 hours, which seem reasonable. That is all for today's Waka's Weird Wonders, Desperado Double Barreled.
It's pretty easy for us to play a game and think, man, this character is awesome. I would love to meet them in real life. Maybe it's their heroic actions, maybe it's their cool deeds, maybe they make you laugh, maybe you even have some weird attraction to sexy-looking pixels. But what about those protagonists that you are constantly rolling your eyes out or cringing and you just want nothing to do with them? You know, those characters we just love to hate. Is it because of their personality? Is it because of what they do? Perhaps it's because of random tasks they do to earn achievements. You know, those things that most people would never ever do in real life, but in the pursuit of imaginary internet points, we do them all the time. With that in mind, we bring you our top 3 video game protagonists that you would never want to hang out with because of what they do in their games.
Wow, X, taking over the intro. Might I interject if I will?
Of course.
All right. Firstly, these are not the protagonists that are the top 5 douchebags or anything like that. If it was, Adam, I'm looking at you, man. Adam from Adam's Venture would have won. No, these are the individuals that may or may not be D-bags, but that's neither here or there because our list is the ones you wouldn't want to hang out with because of the journey you must endure to get all those achievements. I like the fake internet points. Yes, that is exactly what they are. For example, Adam, as we mentioned before, may be unbearable, but the adventure you go on isn't too bad. You travel to a lot of exotic locations, good company, all that stuff. Sure, you would be with him, but I think the experience would outweigh having to actually spend time with Adam. Secondly, speaking of individuals you wouldn't want to hang out with, X, what happened to good old-fashioned pleasantries first?
I mean, I guess I can do some pleasantries. How are you doing, Elroy?
Good, you?
Splendid.
All right. Do we have any feedback this week?
Nope.
Good.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Honorable mention. Honorable mention this week goes to Starballs and Golf Club 1 and Golf Club 2. It was a 3-way tie for honorable mention. This is insane.
Can't. Why?
No, blow your mind. Woo. Yeah. All right. These 3 games, and probably many others, would occupy my honorable mention slot, so you can just keep tacking them on. You'll see a common theme here. But there's all for the same reasons. I am not a golfer, and I do not like golf in the least. I believe I would rather be out on the lake with the meth head and his Euro fishing buddies rather than spending any time on a golf course. Now, I live down the road from a golf course where...
I thought you were going to say down the road from a meth head. Go on.
Well, there used to be the suspicious meth trailer down the road, but it disappeared after a few months. I don't know if someone called the sheriff on them or what, but it was pretty darn suspicious. I don't want to make some accusations here. Someone might, get upset, but yeah, it was probably meth head. But anyhow, I live down the road from a golf course, possibly where meth head trailer used to be, and there are 2 holes conveniently located directly off the side of the road. Now, one of my greatest joys is driving by the course, and I just kind of keep out, I make sure I practice safe driving, but at the same time, I'm looking off to the right-hand side. And then I see some golfer out there, and they're getting ready to swing, and I just sit there and I wait until the backswing, and then I just lay on my horn. It makes my day.
You're that guy.
I am that guy. Now, I even got a louder horn for my truck just for this reason. I installed a louder horn on my truck. I bought it for myself for Christmas, and I put it on my truck just so I could have a louder horn when I'm driving by this golf course.
That's awesome.
So my ideal day, one could say, does not in any way include hanging out with someone, possibly Adam, he's a douchebag, as they complete the achievement amateur golfer for finishing an 18-hole round of golf. That isn't even the worst one, however. But first, let me preface it with a question to you, X.
Oh boy.
Do you know why golfers bring 2 pairs of pants to the golf course?
It's going to be something about green and brown, but I don't know.
It's in case they get a hole-in-one.
Oh, I was way off. That's pretty good, actually.
All right. So the worst achievement in this game, that for purposes of hanging out with the protagonists, is just that. It's the 90-point achievement with a 3.21 ratio called Ace for scoring a hole-in-one on an official course. There's a couple of achievements out there where you score a hole-in-one on like user-made courses where someone's created a course that has a little funnel and you just whack the ball and it goes in the hole no matter what. So that's not this one. This is on an official course. No manipulation, no funnels or anything like that. Now, my understanding is that a typical golfer, they may get lucky maybe once during their actual lifetime and get a hole-in-one. Some people maybe more. I don't know. I don't really follow golf, but I think it's still pretty rare. So, in this case, you mean to tell me that I have to hang out with someone on a golf course waiting for them to hit said hole-in-one until I can leave? Now, I don't think that they have phone chargers out on the golf course, so I would definitely run out of things to do before the amazing protagonist pulled off such feat. Speaking of wasted hours of life, no, I don't mean achievement hunting itself, X, but rather perhaps the most notorious hour sucker of them all, Mr. Starball's robot. We know that the robot's a male because he has starballs. It's been a long while since we have played this on this segment, but I think it's time to revisit it. X, are you ready for Gun to Your Head?
Oh, yeah!
X, gun to your head. You have to, A, stay on the course with the Golf Club 2 protagonist waiting for him to hit a hole-in-one, or gun to your head. B, have to sit around with Mr. Balls to the Wall robot as it obtains the Seriously Take a Break achievement worth 50 points and boasting a 3.34 ratio for playing the game for 500 mother-loving hours. Gun to your head, X. Which do you choose?
500 hours. 500 hours. I feel like waiting for someone to hit a hole-in-one would take longer than that in real life.
Yeah, it's a gamble. I don't know. But then again, they might hit it 20 hours in, and you don't have to hang out with that robot for another 480 hours.
Well, I mean, it's an idle achievement. Do you have to actively play for those 500 hours? So
well, I am glad you asked.
I could take a nap?
So, well, that is definitely a wrinkle that we don't allow in Gun to Your Head. So, but you already answered. So, anyhow, that is kind of what I was wondering. Is I don't know which one's a better proposition. It probably should be mentioned that with the Mr. Ball robot, you're not going to be enjoying all the wonderful landscapes in the game. Most likely, you'll probably watch. You're hanging out with him, so you'll probably watch Mr. Robot get hit or shoot off once, and then just sit there for hours and hours and hours, only to be tapped in at least 12 hours later, days later, who knows? And that's going to happen several times. Over 20 full days you have to spend with this guy. So I don't know about you, but there's only a couple people I can think of that I would ever want to spend that amount of time with, and none of them are golfers. So for these reasons, these 3 games land as the honorable mention on this week's top 3 list, also known as number 4.
That was actually pretty good. I feel like your puns never disappoint, Elroy.
Well, thank you.
All right. It's going to be a tough act to follow, but since you had 3 honorable mentions, I suppose the 4th one on this list is what makes our number 3. So, our number 3 protagonist that would make a horrible friend is none other than yourself. Kind of yourself. The number 3 spot this week goes to your avatar from Forza Horizon 4. Sorry, Forza. I practiced that 10,000 times. It's Forza. Forza Horizon 4. Now, I don't think Forza Horizon needs any explanation, but I guess you could sum it up as you hop in a car and you drive around and you destroy everything, which kind of sounds suspiciously similar to the goats from the last episode. And maybe on occasion you'll do some races. Does that seem like a fair assessment of Forza Horizon?
I'm just, my mind was going to a marriage between Goat Simulator and Forza. I mean,
I would play the heck out of that game.
Yeah, you can't jump out and like, I don't know, just destruction, and yeah. And you could like roll down the window, look out the window, and like your car would whip around like, oh man.
Yeah, let's make that happen. But
Radaleka, we're looking at you.
Yes, they are the guys to do that. Anyway, for me, I feel like Forza Horizon is really the only racing game where racing isn't actually the focus. I mean, you do your tutorial and the forced races at the beginning, and once you're done, you can explore the entire map, and you can pretty much do anything you want. You don't necessarily have all the events, but you know, the game is yours. Do whatever you want with it. So right there, that's what brings us into why I would not want to hang out with myself or avatar, driver, whatever. I do want to add in, though, I named my avatar in-game Kelsey, which is the name of my lovely fiance. So it's pretty cool when I'm driving around, and then, you know, the GPS will be like, Kelsey, turn left here. And she looks up every time like, oh, who said that? But I certainly would not want to say that the last person I want to hang out with is my fiance, would I? So let's not say that. Anyway, she does listen, too. I got to be careful. Love you, sweetie. So looking at the achievements for Horizon 4, I mean, it's pretty standard for a racing game, right? You got finish this race in that series and become champion of this league and that league and buy so many cars and, you know, you guys get it. It's a racing game, right? So what is it that makes Kelsey, what is it that makes your avatar so despicable? One of the series, like the, you know, long-term events featured in this game is the street racing series. So for the street races, the game even straight up tells you that these races aren't sanctioned by the Horizon Festival. Be careful. Don't get caught. So, you know, in a normal race, you're on a set path. It's been cleared. There's, you know, barriers. There's no pedestrians, no traffic. But in street races, there's plenty of traffic. It's just very hazardous. It's dangerous, right? If this were real life, can you imagine? That'd be a lawsuit waiting to happen. I can imagine there'd be quite a few uh-ohs during this race if you were in the car with this, you know, driver. And when you consider that you spend most of Forza Horizon driving around in super fancy cars, that would be really, really devastating to your nice, fancy, expensive interior if you had an uh-oh. So, another one of the achievements is for earning a nearly 200,000 point skill chain. Skill point chain? 200,000 point skill chain, that's it. So if you've played the game, you know the 2 most common, easiest ways to get high-value skill chains are both totally terrifying, by the way. The first is you drive at high speed down a highway, and you just narrowly dodge oncoming traffic, and, you know, you go 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you almost die all the time. The second way is just you drive through fields and farms and cause general mayhem and destruction of property and everything you can find. So, do you remember the SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob is hung up on his essay and all he has written down is, what I learned in boating school is... Are you a SpongeBob person?
I am not.
Well, I pretty much summed up the episode. He has to write an essay on what he learned in boating school, and he's stumped beyond what I learned in boating school is. So I thought that would be fitting for this to say, what I learned in driving school is... Don't drive at high speeds and narrowly dodge traffic on the highway, and don't drive through fields and farms and destroy everything. Does it make sense to me? Does it make sense to you? If you were hanging out with your avatar, you would be dead pretty early on into this friendship, relationship, whatever. There's no way you're surviving that. Reckless driving kills, okay? If you value your life, you would just have to be absolutely sane to get into a car with a literal maniac. Because remember, even though Forza has a rewind feature, real life does not. There's no going, I just drove my Bugatti into a Nissan at 258 miles an hour, but let me just hit this button and try it again, herpity derpity derp. You're dead, Broheim. You're dead. Dead. And for the fact that you're probably gonna die while doing anything associated with this person, your avatar in Forza Horizon 4 is not anybody you would want to hang out with in real life. Because you dead.
I think we should get the what voice was that? That was with the herpity derpity.
Oh, I was going for a pseudo fat Albert, but I don't know. Herpity derpity derp.
I think that character should come back and do a special one on our list maybe next week.
Yeah, I'll see what I can make happen.
That was awesome. All right. Well, I guess it's time for number 2, now that you've played the race card.
Oh.
All right. Number 2. Octodad, Dadliest Catch. And this is for the achievements Smokey the Dad, Secret Shopper, The Secret Gardener, and basically the rest of the achievements in this game. So for those of you who have never played the game, have you played it?
I have. There's actually a decently long story that goes with it, but I'll give you the short version. My fiance, Kelsey, who I already mentioned, decided I just had a really rough week at work, and she was going to surprise me with a game. So she was going to buy me Octodad. But she didn't know that I had account verification and, two-way authentication set up. So I'm at school, and I just randomly get a pop-up on my phone like, someone's trying to log into your account. Would you like to access it? So hell no, I don't want it, so I decline. And then, of course, she tries again, which I decline. And then I get an email, your password has been changed. Did you do this? So I'm freaking out at school thinking someone's trying to hack into my Microsoft account. And then she finally texts me like, sweetie, what's your password? And then we put it all together. And every once in a while, I'll poke fun of her that she tried compromising my Microsoft account by trying to surprise me with Octodad.
Wow, I had no idea you had such a backstory with this.
That's the short version, too.
I'm fantastic. Wow. All I was going to say is it's QOP with a storyline, but you provided even a better storyline. So, yeah. Did you ever play QOP back in the day?
Many, many stupid wasted hours on QOP.
Yeah, there's a trick where you could kind of do a little stutter step, but yeah. It's QOP with a storyline. It is Manual Samuel Light, I guess, because you don't have to blink, breathe, or anything like that. All you have to do is move and grab stuff, and that's about it. So, in any case, it's a lot funnier, I think. But in any case, control is the issue. It's one of those where the fight is that you have to be able to manipulate the character. It's a control game. I don't know if there's a genre for that or not, but where you can't control things, and that's the fight, because he'll fight you every step of the way to get him to do anything. But anyhow, let's just get down to it. Straight up, octopi tend to be jerks. As an ex-scuba diver, and I say ex-scuba diver because I used to be really active scuba diver, but then I married someone that has motion sickness and, boats, motion sickness, and it doesn't really mix well together.
They generally don't go hand in hand.
Yeah, so if you're a diver out there and you're considering marriage, you might take that into account. Because I sure didn't. Not that it would have changed anything. Love you, sweetie. Now, they are super annoying when you encounter one. So best case scenario, all they do is they shoot out a buttload of ink and take off. So actually that's technically incorrect. The ink sac is located in the digestive system. This is the educational portion of the show. But the ink isn't actually in the rectum. So instead, I will keep with the marine theme and say, best case scenario, all they do is shoot out a boatload of ink and take off. Sidebar, buttload is actually not a reference to the rectum, but rather to the unit of measurement for liquid. The butt is approximate size of 2 hogsheads, which is about 126 gallons. How many liters is that, you ask? Who cares? America. So, worst case scenario, they get curious, and then they climb onto you and wrap their limbs around you in whatever random fashion that they do. this is annoying because you don't want to hurt the little buggers. So you kind of feel immobilized and you're at the mercy of these little things. And to rid yourself of them, you usually either have to descend towards the bottom and then they'll scurry off into some rocks. But other times you have to ascend closer to the surface and then they jump off. Octopi norms are like Nom. There are no rules, but there is an ACA game. Now, adding on to this is the fact that you know that there is a chance that an octopus will go raccoon or possum and bite the hell out of you, which is problematic when you're on a dive where, sharks are, involved. I mean, there's sharks down there all the time. So I once had an octopi or an octopus, and one more than one of them. I had an octopus that would not get off my head and my face mask. So I basically had to get the dive master's attention because I was on vacation, and I had to say, hey, look, there's an octopus on my head here. And we had to halt the entire dive, go all the way to the surface before the little jerk jumped off. All the time I'm thinking, man, this is going to hurt like the devil if I get bit on the head. Because you don't know. They can pack a little punch, and you don't know. Maybe you'll piss them off, and then they'll freak out and bite you on the head. So I don't know. But that's my baggage going into this game. So maybe I'm a little biased. So when thinking about the protagonists, I would least like to be bros with Octodad to go achievement hunting with him. Just not going to do it. Now, there are several knocks against Octodad. First, he has young kids. Not sure how to put this.
That doesn't even make any sense, but whatever. That's irrelevant right now.
Oh, well, I'll explain. I'm not sure how to put it nicely, though, but I don't really like kids. So it really wouldn't work out. Kelly and I wouldn't want to hang out with him, and a lot of the Chivos are gained by helping him around at his house. So, that's probably not going to happen. Also, I like a good aquarium. There's one in Chattanooga that's actually really good. Atlanta is supposed to be really good, but I wasn't overly impressed. I mean, oh, you got a whale shark. Oh, look at you. But, what else I got? Oh, I don't know. I ain't got much else, but look at our whale shark. I mean, it's like, I got a whale shark. I mean, great. Okay, anyhow. So a good chunk of this storyline and the Chivos in this game are gained at some aquarium museum. So the thought of accompanying a friend with their kid to a kid's museum sounds like torture to me. Sorry. Not sorry. Now, secondly, I don't know how Han Solo, Rocket, or Star-Lord does it, but I don't understand exactly what Groot is saying or anything other than who he is. And Chewie just sounds like he's clearing his throat.
I can't actually do that. I tried.
That's the best I got. Well, Octodad does the same thing. He just makes this little bloop, 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 bloop noise. While it might be funny at first, it would quickly lose its appeal when information is needed to be communicated. And he would either have to, I guess, text it or write it down for me. Good luck with that with his motor function skills, which I'll get to in a second. Thirdly, am I supposed to pretend that this octopus walking around as a human is not an octopus? It's like, would Octodad confide in me? Would I understand it even if he did? Now, if not, how can one be bros if the whole foundation of our relationship is a lie? He might as well just be Dance 2014 game released in 2013. Fourthly, the motor function skills would get really annoying. I work with teenagers all day, and many of them are inept, and a lot of them just bump into crap and knock stuff over. I'm not sure that I want to carry that over into my personal life. I would want to hang out with someone that is capable of doing the little things in life, such as pouring, holding things steady, walking in a straight line, and the such. Things like that. Lastly, by not hanging out with him, what am I really missing out on? The achievements start with Best Man, and the deal-breaking, very annoying, trick shot gun wedding achievement that takes place at a wedding. Weddings, not a big fan. Kind of waste a weekend, really, but...
Ironically, I'm going to a wedding this weekend.
I am so sorry. So, you mean I have to sit through a wedding and wait for the groom to chunk a wedding ring all the way across the room and expect not just for the bride to be to catch it in her hand, but rather for her to catch it on her finger like Frodo Baggins? No thanks. I guess it depends if it was like one of those basketball contests. I have to clarify. So if it's like those basketball contests where you have to make a half-court shot, three-point shot, a free throw, and a layup, you've seen those, yes?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
sports ball sometimes.
Yeah. So they make you do like 4 shots, and if you win, you get some money or something. But the big question is, you have to clarify on the front is, do you have to shag your own balls? Because if you don't, you may find that your balls are to the walls. Because if you have to shag, then your strategy completely changes. So, thus, does someone throw the ring back to him, or do you have to wait for Octodad to go all the way to the front, fetch his shank, and come all the way back, like what is in the game? So, I guess if I was forced into this situation, I would be at the back of the, behind the altar, and every time he missed, I'd throw it back at him and say, can you speed this thing up? But 2 more achievements called Unacceptable Purchase and Secret Shopper can be obtained at the grocery store? You mean I get to hang out with someone I cannot communicate with at the grocery store? Hey, Octodad, do we need some carrots? Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, good talk, Octodad. Now, I get enough grocery shopping Sunday morning. I don't need to make another trip. Next is the achievement, The Secret Gardener, where 25 points for basically doing yard work. Now, after 17 long years of doing my own yard, I finally have a yard guy. I am not going back. And I am certainly not doing someone else's yard. Thus, sorry, Octodad, it's not you. It's me. You do not occupy my friends list, and you are number 3.
Number 2.
Oh.
Number 2. Did
Yeah, I guess he's
did I ever
number
mention
2.
I had a friend actually that was in a fight with an octopus?
Oh, dang.
He lost though. The octopus was well armed.
Right on.
Yeah, he wanted to immortalize that event though, so he went and got a tattoo of the octopus. It's some pretty nice ink. All right, sorry, those are my only 2 octopus jokes.
Oh, man. Well delivered.
Yeah. This week's number 1, or number 2 if you ask Elroy, who can't count, apparently. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. This week's number 1 goes to Soda Drinker Pro Guy. That's right. The protagonist that would be the most dreadful to hang out with because of the things he does for achievements is the guy who drinks soda freaking everywhere all the damn time. For those of you unfamiliar with this game, I hate to say it, it's a soda drinking simulator, but it's like a soda drinking simulator where you're tripping on weird mushrooms or something. I don't know. Now, Elroy, love that guy. Just to clarify, I have never tripped on weird mushrooms, but I can only imagine that it provides, visual experiences kind of similar to what that game looks like. And that game basically looks like the world we know it, but it was drawn in Microsoft Paint by a toddler who's 2 hours late for nap time, and or a teacher who's being bored to death during an in-service. If I was bored, I would Microsoft Paint it up, But of course,
Or
we're
faculty meeting.
never bored during in-services. Who would say
Just
such a
faculty
thing?
meetings.
So, what is the gameplay in Soda Drinker Pro? You ready for this? You
I'm ready.
you drink soda everywhere, all the time, and then you drink more soda, and then you drink more soda. It's really more of an experience than it is a game, and that's being nice of me. So, anyway, what is it that makes this soda drinker guy so horrible? A decent number of the game's achievements are for drinking soda in various situations. There's 100 levels, and each one's sort of a different trippy mushroom world. However, many of these are not appropriate times to be drinking soda. So, I was going to write up some well-prepared paragraph and, rant about this guy, but I thought it would be better just to make a list, a giant list of reasons why you wouldn't want to hang out with Soda Drinker Pro Guy. So I'll share what the achievement criteria is, and then I'll share what makes this guy awful. All right? Drink a soda in the photo booth. Now, Elroy, when I'm in a photo booth, I like to put on props. I like to move around, be silly, have some fun, right? I assume you do as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do in a photo booth. This guy, he would just be sitting there like a scrub, drinking a soda, and he'd probably get it everywhere. Ugh. That's the worst. Messy photo booth. God knows half of it's not soda, but whatever. Another achievement. Walk all the way to Vegas. This guy chose to walk across the desert to Las Vegas because the bus wouldn't let him on because he had a soda. So rather than throw away his soda, he chose to walk across the desert. You have to figure you'd be walking everywhere because most transportation doesn't allow you to have open cups of soda. And that would suck. Grind a rail in the skate park with the soda. He's not even on a skateboard. I don't know much about sports ball or extreme sports, but I do know that drinking soda while active and moving around, that's not a good idea. The carbonation upsets your tummy. So this guy would not only get in your way drinking his soda on the rail, but he'd probably be vomiting soda up everywhere, which is not okay. Drink a soda while an old man tells you a story. That's just rude, though. Like, if someone's talking to you and you're just, like, slurping your soda, like, don't freaking drink a soda while someone's telling you a story. That's just rude. Find a pizza. What?
You weren't drinking a soda when I was talking earlier, were you?
No, totally not. I don't drink soda. Find a pizza in the sewer. That's just gross. Ugh. He's clearly a disgusting, gross person if he thinks it's okay to be drinking soda in a sewer. And you'd have to go to the sewer with him. Ugh. Walk down a lane and bowl a strike while drinking your soda. Except you're walking down the lane and you're just knocking over the pins. You're not bowling with the bowling ball. That's
really dangerous.
Right? I can think of like 500 things that are wrong with that, but I'll spare myself. Haha. Go down the water slide. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes that much. That's bad. Go down the water slide with a soda. Why even? That's not a good idea. They wouldn't even let you on any of the rides. So you paid to get into this park, and then you bought overpriced soda, and you just wasted a lot of money, and you can't actually do anything. Jump over your best friend. Do you know physics? You know, the thing that grounds everything, right? Inertia, it's a thing. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Newton, something like that. Third law of physics, blah, blah, blah. So if he tries jumping over you with a cup of soda, it's going to go everywhere. Can't have that. Finally, we have random achievements. One of them is for collecting soda. As if this guy doesn't have enough soda, he needs to find 1,000 more cans. Where's he even putting them? He's probably going to make you carry them. And I don't know about you, but when I hang out with someone, I don't want to carry their soda. Drink a soda at midnight. Not only is he awful, but that amount of caffeine would keep him up all night. I don't know about you, but I need my beauty sleep, and I do not drink soda at midnight. Take 10 minutes to drink a soda. You'd be waiting for him everywhere. He now has 1,000 cans of soda to drink. 1,000 cans times 10 minutes each. That's literally just shy of 7 entire days of you standing around waiting for this guy to drink soda. On the flip side, though, there's drink a soda in 60 seconds. That sounds like a very expensive habit, and, diabetes and all that stuff, but he'd probably be in a vending machine every 60 seconds, so you wouldn't get very much done. Drink a soda while spinning around, that's just a mess waiting to happen. Hold a soda to your mouth for a minute without sipping. That just looks stupid as hell, and you'd be embarrassed to be with them. Like, come on now, man. Are we ready for part 2 of this episode's educational segment?
Ooh, yes.
All right. The game has 100 levels, right? So to earn the complete the game achievement, that means you have to drink 100 sodas, because that's how you complete a level, is you drink the soda. So the cup appears to be like a 20-ounce soda. Since the game is not called Diet Soda Drinker Pro, that 20 ounces, that's about 240 calories of pure sugar water right there in that cup. That means, I think I played the game for about 4 hours to get through the 100 levels, and that was way more time than I needed to. But that means in the span of a few hours, this guy consumes 24,000 calories of pure sugar. Assuming you follow the standard 2,000 calorie diet, this guy consumes enough calories for 12 days in one afternoon. He clearly has an addiction, and it's probably safe to assume this is not a one-time thing. So it's a fair guess that he's a very, very big boy. One would have to assume, then, that somebody this large makes things very difficult to do and hang out. If you have a small car, he wouldn't even fit in your car, so you'd have to buy a new car, which is expensive. And you'd get soda in your fancy new large car. Who wants that? Want to travel the world with him? Airlines will make large people buy 2 tickets. That's also expensive. And you have to figure that any kind of casual physical activity, that's off limits. Just because he's so big, he probably can't move unless you're going to roll him around the street. But whatever. In short, soda drinker guy would not only be horrible to hang out with, but even if you could, you couldn't do much of anything. For real, though, this guy needs to star in a new game called Salad Eater Pro.
Oh, I'll be in on Salad Eater Pro.
Just watch out for the ranch dressing.
Let's get this done. Whew. All right. So, well, I mean, he's got all that exercise, so I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So you get to travel to exotic locations, and you get a lot of exercise. Now, if he was sitting and drinking soda the whole time, I mean, I think I would have more of an issue with Soda Drinker Pro. I'm not sure that he's as obese as you think he is. You look down, you don't see a gut sticking out. I mean, it's just kind of, you don't see anything. You just see your feet kind of a thing. So, I don't know. I think you got this guy all wrong.
I don't know. When you jog for like an hour, you're only burning like 200 calories. So, an hour of jogging, that's not even one of those sodas.
So you're spending time with this guy, and all he's doing is drinking soda, and that's so irritable? I mean, would it not be worse like text person pro, someone where they just you send text like constantly, like you're with them, and then they're just sitting there texting, and this guy's just out for a walk. I mean, he's enjoying the moment, so I'm sure he'd be a great conversationalist because he's not distracted. All these guys, just sipping on his soda there, and I'm sure it'd just be a riveting conversation.
I mean, I can't agree with you on this one. He's just awful.
Well, just as a reminder, Achievement Hunters 101 can be found on the internet. We are located next to all those hilarious cat videos. Both myself and X have Xbox accounts. We also have TA accounts. And we even have email. In fact, I have multiple email accounts, but I feel no need to brag.
You're not cool unless you have a Motorola pager. Of which I have none, because I'm pretty sure you only use those to deal drugs. And as we established, I've never done trippy mushrooms. But, while I have the mic, check out my band, Window of Opportunity, man. On the last episode, I said the new song, Hate to Break It to You, would be out by the next episode. And that song is out. So, if you enjoy the sound of my voice talking about fat soda drinker guys, perhaps you'd enjoy that same voice singing and screaming.
Well, maybe Soda Drinker Guy could appear on next year's Child Obesity Month. But thanks again for listening. Hopefully you guys aren't sick of us for what we do, although that would be a fascinating list of the top 5 hosts of this program you would or would not want to hang out with. Number 5, Elroy, love that guy. Number 4, L. Number 3, M. Number 2, Rocker. And number 1, Fufu.
Wait,
fascinating.
You bumped me to the honorable mention? That hurts, man.
Mention.
That hurts.
Well, in any case, let the next countdown to our next list begin.
That truck is freaking sick, dude!
Child obesity.
Oh! Shred it, bro! Shred it,
Time for a chill wiki of the week. Shred it. This endless runner snowboarding game with papercraft graphics is a fairly easy completion that will take you 4 to 6 hours, mostly depending on luck. A 550 gamerscore title update brings Shred It to 1550 gamerscore worth 1900 TA. Title updates usually have inflated ratios, but not in this case. Begin playing some endless runs, picking up collectibles and doing tricks until you've done all the achievements in the base game except for the checkpoint challenge and get all the other achievements. You need to complete the checkpoint challenge with all 7 snowboarders, but if you find it difficult, there's a glitch to unlock each checkpoint challenge achievement by playing the game in chill mode and start idling once you've reached the 5th stage. If you're lucky with the random collectibles, all 1550 gamer score and 1900 TA should be yours in 4 to 6 hours, hopefully keeping you over 250 gamer score an hour. I do a proper outro, but the is calling. Shred it.